This is the tale of 𝗧𝗴𝗃, who was reincarnated as a golden lion with significant prowess. In essence, he was reborn with a system that strengthened him no matter what he did, whether it was breathing, eating, or anything else. The story unfolds with the resurgence of spiritual energy in the heart of Lion's Mountain, triggering a chaotic response from the ferocious beasts that roamed the land. The creatures, once dormant, now ran rampant in a nearby valley. Amidst the turmoil, a girl in tattered clothes sprinted desperately, but she faced two significant problems. Firstly, she was exhausted, and secondly, she was being pursued by a group of soldiers who shouted commands for her to stop and surrender. Nevertheless, the girl pressed on, her eyes catching sight of the beasts charging through the valley. Frustration mounted among the soldiers, and one of them lost patience and fired a bullet. The commander rebuked the hasty action, reminding him that ferocious monsters inhabited this territory. However, it was too late. Suddenly, a mutant pig leaped out of the valley, landing menacingly before the soldiers. The commander realized that the bullet must have struck the creature's fangs. Enraged, the mutant pig charged at the soldiers who, gripped by horror, fled from the oncoming threat. The commander demanded that they stand their ground, but nobody heeded his orders. In a daring move, he retrieved a rocket launcher and launched a rocket at the mutant pig. To his astonishment, the mutant pig skillfully dodged the projectile. The commander quickly began loading another rocket, convinced that one more shot would suffice to take it down. However, a sudden and thunderous roar echoed through the entire forest, interrupting the tense standoff. Upon the cliff, the regal figure of the ruler of Lion's Mountain, the Golden Lion, materialized. A soldier, awestruck by the lion's appearance, questioned if the lion's fur was genuine gold. His foolish companion suggested a test and began firing bullets at the majestic creature. The golden lion charged through the hail of bullets, leapt off the cliff, and gracefully landed on the ground. With a powerful swipe of his paw, he sent the foolish soldier hurtling away. The commander, seeing this, aimed the rocket launcher at the golden lion, yelling a challenge. However, the lion swiftly closed the distance, inserting his finger into the launcher's muzzle. The resulting reverse blast decimated the commander. Surveying the aftermath, the lion noticed the lifeless bodies of soldiers scattered around. A moment of introspection led him to acknowledge that this was his fault for being too strong and not controlling his strength. Yet, he also blamed the soldiers for leading the beast tied to Lion's Mountain. Internally, he reflected on his human origins. His name was 𝗧𝗴𝗃, an orphan who had barely graduated from university and had started working as a part-timer. However, he accidentally crossed over to the Earth Star and was reborn as a demonic beast, the Golden Lion. Suddenly, notifications flooded in, informing him that his stats had increased. The lion cried out in frustration, questioning why the system was enhancing his strength no matter what he did. He then turned his attention to the mutant pig, but the creature, intimidated, hastily retreated. Another message arrived, indicating that by scaring the weak wild boar, his prestige had increased. Just then, Beast Parrot arrived and began praising him for effortlessly eliminating a group of monkeys with a mere movement. Golden Lion told him to stop the flattery and inquired about the girl pursued by the soldiers. A beast green snake provided unfortunate news the girl had been affected by the explosion and fallen into the wave of monsters. Golden Lion peered down from the cliff, witnessing the monsters bowing to him. Another message flashed, congratulating him for gaining prestige points for subjugating the monster wave. Amidst the beasts, an unconscious woman lay injured and unresponsive. Golden Lion, with his significant prowess, approached her, and the monsters made way for him to walk through. He observed her closely and detected that the girl was clearly dead, but there was a peculiar energy surrounding her. To unravel the mystery, he exhaled a purple mist at the girl. In an unexpected turn, a soul emerged from her body, hovering in the air. As the girl's eyes met the Golden Lion's, he smiled, recognizing the uniqueness of this unforeseen encounter. Within the depths of Lion's Mountain, inside a cavern, the ghost girl wept as the Golden Lion reclined on his throne. He told her not to cry, reminding her that the dead have no tears. He then suggested that if she didn't want to turn into a ghost, she should just act as if she were alive. However, he was interrupted by a system message stating that a ghost had been detected, recommending he bind with it as soon as possible. Golden Lion was startled by this unexpected message, as he hadn't done anything to trigger such a system notification. Filled with bewilderment, he questioned the appearance of this message since, so far, he had only received stat point increase notifications. Determined not to be deceived by the system, he resolved to make careful plans and prioritize completing the mission. Amidst his musings, a voice interjected, advising him not to overthink. It noted that the ghost girl was genuinely afraid, Green Candle Demon 𝗧𝗴𝘀 approached the ghost girl, soothing her fears and explaining that the king's intentions were not malicious. The king had infused his demonic energy into her soul to condense it, and the fairy herself had also relied on his energy to transform into a demon. However, solely depending on the king's demonic aura wasn't sufficient to complete her transformation into a demon. Two conditions needed to be met. The first was her special constitution, and the second was the obsession in her heart. Intrigued by the circumstances that led the ghost girl to be pursued by humans, Candle Demon asked for her story. The ghost girl hesitated at first, but after some time she revealed that her name was Xiao Ling and she was a resident of Mang Village, situated on the northern mountainside of Lion's Mountain. After the restoration of spiritual energy, the people in her village began disappearing one by one, leaving only about 20 to 30 people. A few days prior, a group of armed soldiers stormed the peaceful settlement, taking villagers captive. The soldiers commanded the captives to maintain silence and issued an order for an old man to head into the forest. The old man pleaded to be spared from entering the forest where he had lost his son but was met with brutality. The soldier threatened him by pointing a gun at his grandson, causing the old man to comply with their commands. With a heavy heart, he walked into the ominous forest. As he traversed the woodland, he experienced unbearable pain and his legs trembled. Suddenly, his eyes turned red and veins bulged on his forehead. In a mysterious and sudden turn of events, he vanished before everyone's eyes, leaving them bewildered. But the soldiers forced more villagers into the forest. Each time the same strange phenomenon occurred, the villagers would vanish without a trace. Xiao Ling realized that the soldiers were using the villagers to find their way through the mysterious forest. The disappearance of each villager served as a marker, forcing the next one in line to move forward. A soldier announced that they were nearing their destination, marking it as the last attempt. The attention then shifted to Xiao Ling, and the soldier instructed her to enter the forest. The black fog of the forest seemed to have hallucinogenic effects, and as she walked into the fog, she unconsciously moved in one direction. Suddenly, she saw her parents and called out to them. However, her foot slipped and she fell down, losing consciousness. Upon regaining awareness, Xiao Ling found herself confronted with the true purpose of their journey: the flower and the coffin. She realized that these people had destroyed her village, forcing her parents into the black fog to obtain these items. She could not destroy the coffin, so she decided to consume the mysterious flower. However, after ingesting the flower, her body became remarkably light and her eyes could now see clearly at night. But the soldiers discovered the place, so she had to hide and watch as they took away the coffin. A man shouted at the soldiers, questioning them about the flowers. He insisted on acquiring both the coffin and the flowers, threatening not to pay any money if they failed to deliver both items. After failing to find the flower, they started chasing her, and eventually she arrived at Lion's Mountain. Candle Demon expressed anger at the evil humans' actions and cursed them. The golden lion sat in contemplation and realized that Xiao Ling had consumed the flower from the coffin, granting her a special constitution. He then thought about the second condition, the obsession that had appeared in her heart: revenge. He recognized that the coffin and flowers that drove mercenaries mad must be some kind of treasure. Since this had happened in his area, he felt uncomfortable not knowing the whole story. It was the first time spiritual energy had appeared, so he couldn't help but wonder what changes the second spiritual energy would bring. And the system had also asked him to bind with the ghost. So he approached her and stated that he didn't care about her past, but if she became his ghost, her matter would become his matter. He looked at her with a smile and asked if she was willing to be his ghost. Xiao Ling, with teary eyes, expressed her willingness to follow him forever. Golden Lion received a message confirming the successful completion of the task. The reward for completing this task was 1 Yang body fragment, and the message specified that 10 fragments could be exchanged for a complete Yang body. Golden Lion exclaimed in shock and questioned whether this meant he could become human again. Ever since he was born as the Golden Lion, he was given a system that made him stronger, regardless of what he did. However, now the system had begun assigning missions and rewarding him upon their completion. As he examined the upcoming mission, which entailed aiding the ghost in overcoming her obsession, he noticed a reward labeled as a mysterious opportunity. He speculated that if a mere fragment could potentially restore his Yang body, then this mysterious opportunity must be even more amazing. Turning to Xiao Ling, he inquired about her current goal. Was it vengeance against those who wronged her? Xiao Ling hesitated, swearing that she did not want to cause trouble for him. With a sorrowful look, she remarked that now she was his ghost and didn't have a home either. There were people she cared about, but none of them were alive, and she didn't want to put others in danger. Golden Lion realized that despite her young age, she had a heart full of worries. Suddenly, he exhaled purple mist, conjuring a small golden lion. Presenting it to her, he declared it was his clone and tasked with ensuring her protection. He explained that the imminent second surge of spiritual energy would not only bring beast waves but also transformations to Lion's Mountain. Hence, his original form needed to remain here to safeguard their home. He then emitted a pink bubble containing something inside it. The bubble soared towards her, settling on her hand. When the bubble burst, Xiaoling discovered a dagger within. Observing the unique animal fang, she sensed its exceptional sharpness and potent energy, wondering if this was the king's energy. Golden Lion explained that traversing the black fog was a difficult task, so it was good to have a sharp weapon. Xiaoling was surprised by his generosity and thanked him. Just then, Candle Demon also transformed into a mini version, suggesting that since the road ahead had black fog, she would need light for the challenging journey. Xiaoling smiled and expressed her gratitude. Sometime later, in the northern Lion's mountainside at Mang village, the trio walked through the forest. Xiaoling pointed out that this was the area where their villagers had vanished that night. The Candle Demon inquired about the previously mentioned black fog, and Xiaoling clarified that it had dissipated after moving the coffin. Meanwhile, the Golden Lion sensed a strong ghost aura in the vicinity. A few moments later, they encountered some lifeless skeletons further ahead. Xiaoling's gaze fixed on one of the skeletons, recognizing Grandpa Li's clothes. With a heavy heart, she lamented that they had all fallen victim to the black mist. Candle Demon expressed horror at the malevolence of the situation, contemplating how those who perished yesterday had turned into bones today. Golden Lion began chanting a prayer to release the trapped souls. Ethereal light ascended to the sky as the spirits found liberation. He then informed her that he had purged the wronged souls, allowing them to enter the cycle of reincarnation. Grateful, Xiaoling thanked him, but the lion himself wasn't sure if these unjust dead ghosts who had absorbed spiritual energy at Lion's Mountain would truly be able to enter the reincarnation cycle. After burying the bodies, Candle Demon expressed a hope for the deceased to rest in peace. However, Xiaoling revealed her ongoing concern about not finding her parents. Candle Demon suggested digging deeper, but before they could proceed, Golden Lion warned of nearby people. Despite the absence of war, the smell of gunpowder indicated that these individuals were heavily armed. Xiaoling, alarmed, looked toward the location, realizing it was where the coffin used to be. She questioned whether these people were still there, recognizing the potential danger. At the location, 3 soldiers were engrossed in their meal. One of the angry soldiers expressed admiration for Xiaoling's hiding ability and suggested that if they caught her, they could enjoy themselves and then kill her. Frustrated, he complained about his inability to eat. A sly soldier teased him for having bad taste and questioned if they would find it wonderful dining with a pair of corpses. Confused, their commander asked for clarification. The sly soldier kicked a skeleton's head, revealing that these were the girl's parents. If she wanted to find them, she would have to return to this spot. And then they burst into laughter. Xiaoling, witnessing this heartless scene, felt anger bubbling within her. However, Golden Lion restrained her and warned that someone else was approaching. Indeed, a helicopter arrived, and a figure could be seen descending from it using a rope. A robust woman soon arrived, and the soldiers greeted her as leader Mei Yun. Mei Yun questioned whether the foolish Lu Yi had discovered the coffin. The commander clarified that they were still on the lookout for the flower. However, Mei Yun dismissed the significance of the flower, considering it a useless item. To her, the real treasures were the engravings on the coffin. She then leaped into a pit, scooped up some soil, and declared it to be the thing she was looking for, 3 life soul soil. Just then, a message appeared before Golden Lion, shocking him. The message revealed that the system had detected the 3 life soul soil, and he gained a new attribute called demonic knowledge. Golden Lion was surprised, as it was his first time acquiring the demonic knowledge attribute. This attribute allowed him to vividly perceive the intricate details of his veins. He then looked at the green snake's vein lying in front of him. However, she misinterpreted his gaze and blushingly questioned him about it. But our single virgin Golden Lion redirected his attention and never looked back at her. He then pondered on how the system was making him stronger regardless of his actions, but he had never awakened such a special ability before. He could now even see the spiritual energy surging within the veins. Suddenly, a shocked expression appeared on his face as he noticed that many spiritual energy veins were converging at a single point. Meanwhile, at the location of the coffin on the mountainside near Mang village, the commander praised Mei Yun for her significant achievement in discovering such valuable soil. Mei Yun smirked and asserted that what she had accomplished wasn't a great achievement. The commander understood her intention, chuckled, and assured her that they would keep it a secret. But Mei Yun abruptly turned, brandishing her dagger, and ominously declared that only the dead could keep secrets. She offered them a chance to die a painless death and ordered them to end their own lives. The soldiers realized the imminent danger. They shouted curses at her and started firing bullets at her. Mei Yun remained unfazed, and her bracelet suddenly glowed, granting her some kind of ability. With a swift maneuver, she slashed her sword and eliminated all foes in an instant. Mei Yun walked confidently toward the pit and mocked Lu Yi, who had expended life-saving treasures, manpower, and numerous resources. However, in the end, she was the one who reaped the most benefits. She declared that Lu Yi's blindness was to blame and emphasized that, while the coffin might be precious, the three-life soul soil was more magical. Mei-yun then made a cut on her palm and dropped some blood on a stone that emitted a strange aura. She revealed her cunning plan, crediting her idea of using villagers to lead them to the coffin. Xiaoling, fueled by anger, attacked Mei-yun from behind. However, somehow Mei-yun sensed the threat instinctively and swiftly slashed her sword. Xiaoling ducked down in panic and managed to dodge the attack. Candle Demon was shocked and questioned how Mei-yun had sensed the impending attack. Meanwhile, Xiaoling came to the realization that she need not fear being cut by a sword, as she was a ghost. Mei-yun, now aware of an intruder, cautiously stepped back, only to realize that no one was there. However, she remained convinced that her bracelet couldn't be wrong. Retrieving a pair of glasses, she put them on and spotted Zhao Ling, whom she referred to as a small ghost. Xiao Ling shouted her intent to seek revenge for her parents. Mei-yun mocked her, questioning who she was and when she had supposedly killed her parents. Xiao Ling was shocked to hear that she didn't remember her. Mei-yun smirked and stated that she couldn't remember how many ants she had killed before. Xiao Ling lost her cool after hearing this and charged at her, and the fierce battle commenced. Golden Lion observed the scene and was puzzled by Mei-yun's lack of surprise or fear upon encountering a ghost. He speculated it might not be her first time confronting ghosts, and maybe she even had a way of dealing with them. Golden Lion noticed something wrong, and he reacted swiftly, sending a golden energy to pull Xiao Ling away from harm. Thankfully, she wasn't injured and only a little of her clothes were torn. Xiao Ling was shocked and wondered how it was even possible since she didn't have a physical form. Mei-yun acknowledged the quick reaction and revealed that her sword was designed to deal with ghosts. Xiao Ling realized that now she could only dodge and wait for a blind spot to appear. Candle Demon urged the Golden Lion to intervene and assist, as Xiao Ling had just become a ghost and was no match for an awakener.